Alright, so today I just wanted to talk briefly about PC gaming and this very interesting piece of news that I stumbled across today. This is also published by GameSpot, so it's fairly credible, but Steam Spy just tweeted out this graph, and it essentially shows that over 38% of all the games ever released on Steam were released this year in 2016. And there's still another month to go, so this number could rise. But that is absolutely incredible. 4,207 games were released on Steam this year. More than any other year. Absolutely insane. And if we just do a little bit of math, let me just pull this up. So the number of games that were released in 2016 were 4,207. Let's subtract that from last year, which is 2,064 games. And then let's go ahead and divide that to find out the percentage increase. So, and let's multiply that by 100. So, from last year, 2015 to 2016, there has been an increase of 42%, if I did my math correct. That is insane. A 42% increase in the amount of games published on Steam. Insane. Absolutely insane. And hopefully you can see this graph. I'm not sure how big it will be on the little YouTube video, but I'll just go ahead and go through some of the other years. In 2014, only 1,772 games were released. In 2013, only 565 games were released. In 2012, only 379, and it keeps going down from there. And as you can see, back in 2004, only 7 games were released, and then in 2005, only 6 games. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but I'm pretty sure it's fairly accurate. Steam Spy is a pretty credible source to find out statistical information on Steam. Wow, absolutely insane. And you may be wondering why. Like, why is there so many games being released on Steam all of a sudden? And over the past 3 years, there has been a dramatic increase in the number of games. And there's a number of reasons. I think, to begin with, there's just more gamers in general. There's more PC gamers than ever before. Everyone seems to be switching over to PC in some form or another. Even if you have a console, even if you mainly play on console, I think a lot of people are starting to make the shift to PC just because there is a lot more games, there's a lot more exclusives, there's a ton of indie games. The indie game market is absolutely unreal at the moment. Lots of competition, a lot of very, very cheap games. Some games you can find for like 50 cents or less. Incredible just selection of games that a PC gamer can choose from. So apart from there just being a larger amount of gamers, every year I think the amount of gamers will go up by a considerable amount, and that's just natural because more people are becoming gamers. It's not like, the generation above mine and the generation above that, like people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s and above, most of them don't play video games, but I think that's going to change in the future. I think people that were born in like the 80s and 90s were like the first generation of gamers that really caught on and really got obsessed into playing games like every day for a large amount of time. So moving on, there's some other reasons, and one being that in 2012, or might have been 2013, I think it was in 2012, Steam released this thing called Steam Greenlight. Most of you probably have never heard of this. I'm not entirely sure how many people know about this, but Steam Greenlight can be found here in the community section. And basically what this is essentially it's how do I put this? It's a way for indie developers or for anyone to get their game published on Steam without having to go through a publisher. All you have to do is you have to buy a $100 one-time fee Greenlight card, pretty much. And once you get that, you are able to upload all of your games, or however many you like, or whatever game you're working on. And then essentially people on Steam, just normal users, can go to Steam Greenlight. They can find a game like this, and they can watch the trailer, they can read about it, they can see if it's good or not, and then you can go ahead and just vote for it. I can say, would I buy this game? Yeah, it looks pretty okay. Looks all right. Actually looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and vote yes. So by voting yes, you get enough votes, you get released on Steam. So after a certain amount of votes, or people like it, your game will get published on Steam. And if you get a lot of negative votes, perhaps it won't. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but over time, as long as you get enough votes, I think the top 100 games on Greenlight, I think they automatically get published on Steam, and that's where a lot of these games are coming from. A lot of independent developers are releasing their games on Greenlight and then easily getting on to the Steam store. And something kind of crazy, most of you probably don't know this, but if you scroll down here, you can go to, let's see, popular new releases, and if you look at the popular new release list, there is at least 20 plus games that come out every single day on Steam, and it is just it's hard to keep up with. There's too many games, too many freaking games. Let's look at Junk Jet. I don't know, I'm getting kind of distracted. Jump Jack. Kind of looks like Terraria. This game looks kind of interesting. I might keep my eye on this. Let's go ahead and follow that. So I get distracted pretty easily. Yeah, and for someone like me, I like to collect games on Steam, and I like to play as many as I possibly can. I have over 4,000 games, and my goal is to basically collect as many as I can and play as much as I can, and it's hard to keep up with. So getting back on topic, that's one reason Steam Greenlight came out, so independent developers are able to release their games on Steam. There's another reason, and that is, let me just go back to this GameSpot article. I kind of read through this, and I'm stealing some of their ideas. So credit to GameSpot. Be sure to check out this article if you want to read a little bit more about it. But another thing is the release of free game development engines that are constantly improving just about every year. Unreal Engine, Unity, Game Maker, etc., RPG Maker. There's so many game engines now that you can buy for free or for very, very low cost, and you can make games. And since the number of gamers have gone up, that also means the number of people interested in getting into gaming development has, of course, gone up considerably, especially with certain indie games getting a lot of popularity and praise. People are getting into the indie market scene, or the indie scene, and with game engines like Unity, a lot of games, oops, sorry, I just hit my mic. A lot of video games are made with Unity Personal Edition. I see it all the time. I review indie games pretty much almost every day, and a large percentage of games are made with Unity. It's a free game engine, and it's very easy to learn. I took a few classes in college on it, but a lot more people are getting into making video games and releasing games on Steam. And honestly, it's like you can look at it two ways. One, which this article points out, is perhaps it's time to upgrade the pile of shame to an unscalable mountain of shame. So some people are disappointed because originally, like before, I would say 2012, Steam would only publish games by publishers or by their own games. So mostly it was just high quality AAA games and very polished indie games from recognizable studios. But that has changed quite a bit. And now, since anyone can release games on Steam, there's been a lot of low-quality games, some very, very poor quality indie games made by a lot of people. I'm not going to pick anyone out per se, but I will mention that there's a lot of Russian games that are very, very bad and extremely low quality, and they pump these games out like every month, and it's kind of getting oversaturated on Steam with a bunch of garbage games or like shovelware type games. So some people are kind of disappointed because whenever they're going to look for a game they want to play, they can come across something that just isn't great, and they may get lured into buying it because there's some very misleading trailers and screenshots, and reviews are not always trustworthy. But on the flip side, there's a lot more good games coming out. Not everyone's going to agree with me on that, but if you're a fan of indie games, there is so much to play. And even AAA games, there's a ton of good games to play. And some people are going to be, like, I guess negative to that point because they may think 2016 was a bad year for video games just because there wasn't anything like revolutionary, I guess, or anything like next generation. But honestly, there was a lot of good games that came out this year. If we just go to the top sellers, you can see things like Watch Dogs 2. Planet Coaster is absolutely amazing. I highly encourage you guys to look at the trailer. Fantastic, like roller coaster tycoon type game. No Man's Sky was awful. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. I do want to pick it up one day for like $10, but that has received a lot of hate, so I give you guys that. But Civilization 6, City Skylines, that's kind of an old game. There's just a lot of games on sale. Dishonored 2. There's a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of games that came out this year that are not on this list. But as you can see, there's just a ton of games. Skyrim Remastered. Yeah, I can't really even think of all the games that came out this year. But yeah, there's a lot of games. Doom, I just recently played through Doom. That was a fantastic first-person shooter. Loved it. That was very surprising that they remade Doom and made it an actual, like, oh my god, amazing game. But I'm just rambling on. I just wanted to talk briefly about the number of games being released on Steam. I think personally that this is a huge positive overall. And it doesn't matter how many shovelware games are pumped out into Steam. There's always going to be a large percentage of good games. You just have to sort through the garbage and find the good games with overwhelmingly positive reviews. And you can find things that you won't even believe, or I mean, you would never have even imagined before. Like tons of new experiences. Like recently, I don't know, I'm just rambling. I'm sorry, guys. But recently, I played a game called Downwell. This game looks like a simple little retro arcade game, and it is, but it is so addicting and so much fun, and it incorporates mechanics of like roguelike mechanics that just make it a joy to play and a very high replayability. So you can find games for any genre, and I think overall the PC market is doing amazing. It's only going to go up from here. I don't see any slowdown whatsoever. More people are getting into PC gaming. More people are going to start developing for PC games. For a consumer, that is a fantastic notion. For a game developer, this may be very bad news because, like, think if you put 6 months of work or maybe even 2 years of work into a indie project, and then you realize that there is like over 4,000 games that you are competing with that year that you're planning on releasing your game. That is very bad for sales because even though there's more people playing games like than ever before and more people switching over to PC gaming, the competition is oversaturated in my opinion, and it's hard to sell an indie game, and it's hard to get like word of mouth and to get your game advertised. So yeah, it's kind of bad for indie game developers. I would not suggest switching to indie game development full-time for your job. Try to find something else as well, because it is sort of hit or miss. Some indie games do make it very far, especially if you get on the top sellers list. It becomes something great. Things like Stardew Valley, or what was that other game? I forgot the other game that came out recently, but Stardew Valley is a indie game that has received a lot of fame. I think it was made by like only a couple people or maybe just one person. But yeah, as you can see, this has sold probably over 100,000. No, wait, I think it's sold over 1 million copies so far. But yeah, I'm just rambling on and on. Hopefully you guys don't mind that too much. I don't have a script or anything. I should probably end it here, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that the Steam, or at least the PC marketplace, is doing super well, and it's going to continue to improve, and there's going to be more and more games every year. And for someone like me who likes indie games and who likes playing all sorts of different genres, I think that is a super positive note, and I'm really looking forward to the future, to seeing just experiencing new games, new mechanics. There's never going to be a shortage of games, and that is what I absolutely enjoy, because I remember back, I grew up in the 90s and like early 2000s, and I remember like I would not get a game unless I got like good grades on my report card, or maybe for my birthday or Christmas I would get maybe 1, possibly 2 games, and those games would have to last me for months. And I just remember like that was all I could play unless I went to Blockbuster and rented a game for like a week or so. that's it. And I only had a very small selection of games to choose from. Now I have literally thousands of games that I need to play that I haven't played yet, and there's just a huge backlog of games that I would love to play through, but I just don't even have enough time. And just on that note, it's like I can never get bored. Every day I have something new to play, and even if I don't enjoy that game, there's always something else to play, and like there's no such thing as boredom anymore. At least not for me. But as a gamer, but I'm gonna go ahead. I can't talk. I need some water. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed me just rambling on. I like to do just news topics every so often about gaming related topics. And things like this really interest me, especially things about Steam, because usually in the news you don't see a whole lot of topics about Steam. Even major like companies like GameSpot and IGN and all the major like media platforms for gaming related news, they don't talk about Steam very often, and I'm not really sure why, because I guess there's considerably more people playing on consoles, and they like to talk about the Xbox and the PS4. But honestly, PC is the best. PC master race. You guys need to switch to PC. Xbox and PS4 has some good games. Not gonna lie, I really love Halo, one of my favorite series. But there's just more to experience in life. So I'm just gonna end this video here. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a nice day.